Welcome to the Daily Stoic Reflections. Today, we dive deep into 9 powerful Stoic lessons that will transform how you approach life, relationships, and self-growth. Whether it's understanding compassion, mastering your speech, or embracing mindfulness, each lesson is a stepping stone to becoming the best version of yourself. This video is packed with insights you won't want to miss, so stick with us until the end to fully grasp the wisdom of Stoicism and how it can bring peace, respect, and lasting change into your life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's embark on this journey together and build a life of dignity and respect. Lesson 1. Compassion, a path to understanding and peace. Compassion is more than just an emotional reaction, it is an active choice to understand and alleviate the suffering of others. In a world where judgments are often made quickly, compassion calls us to slow down, step back, and reflect before we leap to conclusions. It is the bridge that connects us to the humanity of others, allowing us to see beyond their mistakes, struggles, and imperfections. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, emphasized the importance of self-reflection before criticizing others. He famously said, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself, what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" This is a profound practice that helps us cultivate compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. By acknowledging our own faults and imperfections, we become more understanding and patient with others who may be struggling with their own. Imagine a situation at work where a colleague makes a mistake that affects your project. It's easy to become frustrated and place blame, but instead, ask yourself, have I ever made a similar mistake? How did I want to be treated when I was in a similar position? When you reflect this way, it becomes easier to approach the situation with empathy, offering support instead of judgment. You might say, I understand that this happened, let's figure out together how we can solve it, rather than reprimanding them harshly. This response not only alleviates the pressure on your colleague but also strengthens your relationship with them. Your compassion in that moment creates an atmosphere of trust and collaboration. The practice of compassion extends beyond the big moments and into our daily lives. Whether it's helping a stranger in need, offering a listening ear to a friend, or simply showing kindness to someone who may be having a tough day, small acts of compassion can ripple out and make a profound difference. Think about a time when someone showed you kindness when you were at your lowest. That simple act probably made you feel seen, heard, and valued. Compassion has the power to create a similar effect on others. Moreover, practicing compassion brings peace not just to others, but to ourselves. When we release judgment and embrace empathy, we free ourselves from the burden of resentment and anger. These negative emotions, if left unchecked, can corrode our peace of mind. But when we choose compassion, we create room for understanding and forgiveness. By forgiving ourselves and others, we release the weight of past grievances and allow our relationships to thrive. In conclusion, compassion is not just a Stoic virtue, it is a way of living that nurtures deeper, more meaningful connections. It allows us to build bridges where there were walls and to respond with grace rather than frustration. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, by reflecting on our own faults before criticizing others, we cultivate the understanding and patience needed to foster peace in our relationships and within ourselves. Lesson 2. Right speech, the power of words and silence. In a world where communication is constant, the way we speak holds incredible power. Words can uplift, heal, and build trust, or they can wound, divide, and cause irreparable damage. Right speech, as taught by Stoic philosophers, is more than just saying the right things. It's about speaking truthfully, kindly, and consciously. It is the foundation of strong, respectful relationships, and it allows us to communicate in ways that foster understanding and mutual respect. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, emphasized the importance of speaking with integrity. The Stoic belief is simple: speak truthfully, but always in a way that respects others. Truth, however, is not always black and white, and sometimes, How we present it matters just as much as what we say. For instance, imagine you're in a meeting and a colleague has made a mistake. Instead of calling them out in front of everyone with harsh criticism, you could say, "I understand what you're trying to accomplish, but I think we might want to consider another approach," allowing them the chance to correct the error without feeling diminished. This approach speaks the truth, but it does so with kindness, creating an environment where mutual respect thrives. Kind words, while simple, have profound power. Just think of a time when someone spoke kindly to you during a stressful situation. Perhaps it was a simple gesture, a compliment, an understanding word, or just a gentle encouragement, but it likely made a world of difference. On the other hand, think of the impact of harsh or thoughtless words. They might not only wound emotionally, but they can also leave long-lasting scars that might take years to heal. The Stoics teach us that words should be used wisely, to build up rather than tear down. In many situations, silence can be just as powerful as speaking. Sometimes, the best way to respond to a provocative remark or a moment of tension is not to speak at all. Choosing to remain silent allows you to collect your thoughts, prevent unnecessary conflict, and avoid adding fuel to the fire. Conscious silence is not a weakness, but rather a demonstration of control, self-respect, and wisdom. By pausing, you create space for the emotions of others to settle and for you to respond thoughtfully, without impulsivity. For example, imagine being in a heated conversation with someone who is upset and angry. Instead of rushing to defend yourself or make an argument, you might choose silence, giving the person the opportunity to express themselves fully. This not only prevents the situation from escalating but also demonstrates that you value the other person's perspective. Your restraint might be a sign of your respect for them, and in turn, they may begin to respect your composed demeanor. Practicing conscious speech is essential in every aspect of our lives, at work, with friends, and even within our families. In the workplace, for instance, imagine offering constructive feedback rather than criticism. Instead of saying, "You're doing this all wrong," you might say, "I see how you're approaching this, but I think we might get a better result if we tried it this way." This type of communication encourages growth, fosters learning, and builds trust. The Stoic principle of right speech doesn't just stop at avoiding harsh words, it encourages us to think before speaking. Are our words helpful? Do they promote understanding or conflict? Will they encourage growth or discourage it? By consciously choosing our words, we can create environments of respect and kindness, where people feel valued and heard. In conclusion, right speech is a cornerstone of building meaningful, lasting relationships. It's about speaking truthfully, but with kindness and respect. It's about knowing when to speak up and when to remain silent. When we practice conscious speech, we foster an environment of trust, respect, and harmony, where both our words and our silence are powerful tools for positive change. The power of words is immeasurable. Choose them wisely, and you'll see how they shape not just the relationships you have, but also the world you live in. Lesson 3, Mindfulness, the power of presence and calm. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to be swept away by emotions, reactions, and distractions. We often find ourselves reacting impulsively to situations, whether it's a heated argument with a friend, a stressful moment at work, or even a small frustration that escalates quickly. But what if there was a way to pause, breathe, and choose how we respond? This is where mindfulness, a core practice in Stoic philosophy, becomes a game changer. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, aware of our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. It's about observing life as it unfolds, without being carried away by the tide of emotions and impulsive reactions. When we are mindful, we give ourselves the space to respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting on autopilot. This leads not only to greater self-respect but also prevents the disrespect that can come from reacting in ways we later regret. Consider the example of a stressful situation at work. Imagine you're in a meeting and a colleague criticizes your recent project. Your immediate impulse might be to defend yourself, perhaps even with frustration or anger. However, through mindfulness, you can take a step back before responding. By focusing on your breath, grounding yourself in the present moment, and observing your emotions without acting on them, you create space for a more measured response. Instead of reacting impulsively, you might calmly say, "I understand your concern, and I'd like to clarify how I approached this," offering a rational, controlled response that maintains your self-respect and fosters a respectful dialogue. This mindful pause allows us to assess situations with clarity and rationality. It shifts us from being at the mercy of our emotions to being in control of our actions. Think of it like having a calm anchor amidst a storm. No matter how chaotic the situation becomes, mindfulness helps you stay grounded. When you practice mindfulness, you are no longer a prisoner to your immediate reactions. You take charge of your thoughts, behaviors, and the way you respond to others. The power of mindfulness also lies in its ability to build resilience. When we practice being present, we are less likely to overreact or jump to conclusions. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of succumbing to road rage, you can use mindfulness to stay calm and avoid reacting angrily. This not only prevents disrespectful behavior on your part but also protects your own peace of mind. You realize that the person cutting you off is a stranger, and their actions, though frustrating, don't have to define your emotional state. Moreover, mindfulness fosters self-awareness, which is a crucial element in preventing disrespect from others. When we are aware of our own thoughts and emotions, we become better equipped to manage how we present ourselves to the world. This awareness helps us set boundaries, communicate clearly, and avoid situations where we might unknowingly invite disrespect. By being mindful of our actions and words, we show others that we value ourselves and our time, creating a mutual respect in return. To incorporate mindfulness into your daily life, you don't need to become a meditation expert. Simple practices, such as pausing before responding in a conversation, focusing on your breath during moments of stress, or even taking a few moments in the morning to center yourself, can make a huge difference. These small acts of mindfulness lead to better decision-making, stronger relationships, and a deeper sense of inner peace. In conclusion, mindfulness is a powerful Stoic tool that helps us remain calm, thoughtful, and rational in the face of life's challenges. By practicing mindfulness, we take control of our reactions, prevent disrespect from others, and cultivate a deep sense of self-respect. It allows us to live with intention, choose our responses wisely, and maintain peace even in the most challenging situations. Embrace mindfulness, and you'll find yourself navigating life's storms with a calm, clear mind, and ultimately, earning the respect of those around you. Lesson 4: Forgiveness, the key to inner peace and stronger relationships. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools we have to heal emotional wounds and cultivate peace in our lives. In Stoic philosophy, forgiveness is not just a moral or ethical choice, it is a necessary practice for personal growth and emotional well-being. Whether we are forgiving others for their wrongdoings or ourselves for our own mistakes, forgiveness is about letting go of the past and freeing ourselves from the chains of anger, resentment, and hurt. Many of us hold on to grudges, believing that holding on to the pain caused by others somehow gives us power. But in reality, resentment only weighs us down, blocking the flow of peace and happiness in our lives. Forgiveness, on the other hand, allows us to release these negative emotions and open our hearts to healing and growth. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, reminds us that people are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. This insight teaches us that forgiveness is not about excusing the actions of others, it is about changing the way we perceive the pain they have caused and choosing to release it. Let's consider the example of holding a grudge against someone who betrayed your trust. You might replay the hurtful situation in your mind, letting the anger and resentment grow stronger with each thought. However, as Marcus Aurelius teaches, you are not harmed by the action itself, but by your interpretation of it. When you forgive, you shift the narrative from one of victimhood to one of empowerment. You no longer allow that person's actions to control your emotional state. By forgiving, you free yourself from the grip of the past and allow peace to return to your mind. Self-forgiveness is just as crucial as forgiving others. Often, we are our own harshest critics, carrying the weight of guilt and regret for our mistakes. This can be incredibly damaging to our self-esteem and mental health. Stoicism teaches us to view mistakes as opportunities for growth and self-improvement, not as irredeemable failures. By practicing self-forgiveness, we release ourselves from the burden of self-blame and allow space for learning and growth. Instead of punishing ourselves for past actions, we accept them, learn from them, and move forward with renewed strength and wisdom. Consider the situation of a person who has made a mistake in their career, perhaps failing to meet a significant deadline or letting down a team. The natural impulse might be to feel ashamed, embarrassed, or even angry at oneself. But through the practice of self-forgiveness, this person can acknowledge the mistake, understand what went wrong, and use it as a stepping stone toward improvement. Forgiving oneself allows the individual to move past the shame, learn from the experience, and continue progressing without the weight of guilt holding them back. Forgiveness is not about forgetting the wrongs that have been done or excusing harmful behavior. It's about understanding that clinging to anger only damages us in the long run. When we forgive, we choose to prioritize our peace of mind over the need to be right or to hold others accountable forever. It's a decision to free ourselves from the negative emotions that keep us stuck in the past. This doesn't mean we allow harmful behavior to continue unchecked. Instead, it means that we let go of the emotional burden of the past and create space for healthier responses in the future. The benefits of forgiveness extend beyond our emotional well-being. Forgiveness also strengthens relationships. When we choose to forgive others, we show them that we value the relationship more than the mistake or hurt that caused tension. This act of vulnerability and understanding can deepen trust and create a more resilient bond. Imagine forgiving a friend who let you down. Instead of letting the incident drive a wedge between you, you choose to acknowledge their mistake, forgive them, and move forward together. This doesn't mean the mistake is forgotten, it means that the relationship is more important than holding on to past hurts. In conclusion, forgiveness is a powerful practice that allows us to release negative emotions, heal, and grow. Whether it's forgiving others or ourselves, this Stoic virtue is essential for achieving peace and building stronger, more meaningful relationships. Forgiveness frees us from the shackles of resentment, enabling us to live with more joy, compassion, and understanding. Remember, forgiveness is not a gift to others, it's a gift you give to yourself. By practicing forgiveness, you create the space for love, peace, and personal growth to flourish in your life. Lesson 5, Non-Attachment, the freedom of letting go. In a world where we are constantly seeking approval, success, and material gain, the concept of non-attachment offers a liberating path to inner peace and self-respect. Non-attachment doesn't mean renouncing everything or becoming indifferent, rather, it's about letting go of the emotional dependence we place on external outcomes, possessions, and the need for validation. When we practice non-attachment, we free ourselves from the fear of losing what we hold dear and from the pain of not receiving what we desire. The Stoic philosophers, including Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, often emphasized the importance of accepting what we cannot control. Epictetus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This insight is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. The more we rely on external circumstances for our happiness, the more vulnerable we become to disappointment and disrespect. When we are attached to the outcome of our efforts, we become anxious and frustrated when things don't go as planned. But when we practice non-attachment, we accept the process without being overly concerned with the result. Take, for example, a situation in which you've worked tirelessly on a project at work, only to have it not turn out the way you hoped. The natural response might be to feel disappointed, frustrated, or even angry. But by practicing non-attachment, you can detach from the outcome, recognizing that you did your best and that the result does not define your worth. Instead of being consumed by the failure, you can choose to learn from it and move forward. This shift in perspective allows you to maintain peace in the face of disappointment and to keep your self-respect intact. Non-attachment also plays a crucial role in our relationships. Often, we seek validation and approval from others, hoping to be liked, admired, or accepted. While it's natural to want connection and belonging, excessive attachment to the opinions of others can lead to insecurity and emotional turmoil. When we are attached to the idea of being accepted, we become vulnerable to disrespect or rejection. However, by practicing non-attachment to others' opinions, we can remain true to ourselves and build relationships based on mutual respect rather than the need for validation. Imagine you're in a conversation where someone criticizes you or challenges your ideas. If you're emotionally attached to their approval, you may react defensively, feeling hurt or disrespected. However, if you are not attached to their opinion, you can respond calmly, understanding that their perspective is just one among many. This non-attachment allows you to maintain self-respect because your sense of worth doesn't depend on external approval. Moreover, non-attachment is deeply connected to our relationship with material possessions. In a consumer-driven society, we are constantly encouraged to acquire more bigger houses, fancier cars, the latest gadgets. However, Stoicism teaches that material possessions are not the source of true happiness. The more we become attached to things, the more we risk feeling empty when they are lost or when they fail to provide the satisfaction we expected. By practicing non-attachment to material possessions, we release the need to define our worth by what we own. This doesn't mean we shouldn't enjoy life's comforts, but it means we don't allow them to control our happiness. For instance, imagine you've worked hard to buy a luxury item, but it doesn't bring the satisfaction you hoped for. Instead of becoming disappointed or feeling unfulfilled, practicing non-attachment helps you realize that true happiness doesn't come from possessions but from within. By releasing the hold that material things have over you, you regain your peace and freedom. You learn to appreciate life's simple pleasures and understand that your worth is not tied to the things you own. In conclusion, non-attachment is a powerful Stoic practice that allows us to detach from outcomes, possessions, and the need for approval. When we stop relying on external circumstances to define our happiness, we cultivate a deep sense of peace and self-respect. We free ourselves from the anxiety and frustration that come from clinging to things beyond our control. By embracing non-attachment, we create space for greater personal freedom, inner strength, and lasting contentment. In the end, true happiness comes not from what we have or what others think of us, but from the peace we find within ourselves when we let go of our attachments. Lesson 6: Humility, the strength in recognizing our imperfections. Humility is often misunderstood as weakness or submission, but in Stoic philosophy, it is seen as one of the most powerful virtues we can cultivate. Humility is about recognizing that we are all imperfect, that we all have flaws, and that no one, no matter how accomplished or wise, is above learning from others. It is the recognition that our knowledge is limited and that there is always more to learn, both from our own experiences and from those around us. When we embrace humility, we free ourselves from the need to prove our superiority or inflate our ego. We understand that our worth is not determined by our achievements or how others perceive us, but by the values we live by and the respect we show to others. Humility fosters mutual respect, because it allows us to see others as equals, with their own strengths and weaknesses, rather than comparing ourselves to them. In a world where competition and pride often dominate, humility offers a refreshing approach to building genuine, positive relationships. Consider a situation in which you're working on a team project. You might be highly skilled in one area, but there are other members of the team with different strengths. Humility allows you to recognize that your expertise is not the only valuable contribution. Instead of dismissing others' ideas or being overly critical of their methods, humility enables you to listen and appreciate their perspectives. It's in this environment of mutual respect that collaboration thrives, where each person feels valued and encouraged to contribute their best work. Humility also teaches us to accept criticism gracefully. No one is immune to making mistakes, and no one's opinions are perfect. Instead of reacting defensively when someone points out a flaw or suggests an improvement, humility allows us to respond with openness and gratitude. Being humble means acknowledging that we are not always right, and that accepting feedback is an opportunity for growth. When we approach criticism with humility, we show others that we are willing to learn, which in turn fosters trust and respect in our relationships. Think about the humility of great leaders in history, such as Nelson Mandela. Despite enduring years of suffering and injustice, Mandela never let bitterness or pride cloud his ability to forgive and connect with others. His humility helped him lead a nation toward reconciliation, showing that true leadership is about valuing others and working together, not asserting dominance or ego. His ability to see beyond personal grievances and recognize the humanity in others created a foundation of mutual respect that changed an entire nation. Humility also plays a crucial role in how we perceive others. When we humble ourselves, we start to recognize the value and wisdom in everyone, not just those we admire or who are in positions of authority. Each person we encounter has unique insights and experiences that can teach us something. By adopting a humble attitude, we become better listeners, more compassionate, and more open to learning from all walks of life. Humility allows us to build deeper, more authentic relationships because we approach others with a sense of equality and appreciation. In conclusion, humility is not about putting ourselves down or denying our worth, rather, it is about recognizing that we are imperfect and that everyone has something valuable to offer. By practicing humility, we foster an environment of mutual respect, where we can learn, grow, and build stronger, more positive relationships. Humility doesn't diminish us, it strengthens our connections with others and helps us become better versions of ourselves. It is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy because it teaches us to live with grace, to value others, and to embrace the ongoing journey of self-improvement. Through humility, we create an atmosphere of respect, collaboration, and growth that benefits everyone. Lesson 7: Patience, the quiet strength that builds resilience. In a world that demands instant results and quick gratification, patience is often overlooked, yet it is one of the most essential virtues we can develop. For the Stoics, patience is not a passive state of waiting, it is an active, deliberate practice that strengthens our ability to endure difficulties, setbacks, and frustrations without losing our sense of self-control. Patience is not just about waiting for things to unfold in their own time, it is about how we respond to the inevitable challenges that life presents. Patience allows us to cultivate resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity. When we face obstacles, whether in our personal lives, careers, or relationships, our immediate impulse might be to react in frustration, anger, or desperation. But the Stoics teach us that true strength lies in our ability to remain calm in the face of challenges. Instead of rushing to resolve every issue or seek quick solutions, patience helps us understand that difficulties are a part of life's natural flow. By practicing patience, we create the mental space to approach problems thoughtfully, assess the situation calmly, and find the most effective solution. Think about a situation where you are working on a long-term goal, like completing a difficult project or building a new skill. It's easy to become discouraged when progress is slow or when setbacks occur. But patience teaches us that success rarely comes overnight. It is through the slow, steady progress that we build mastery and expertise. Instead of becoming frustrated with the lack of immediate results, patience allows us to focus on the process, knowing that consistent effort over time leads to meaningful outcomes. Consider the example of a person who is trying to learn a new language. In the early stages, progress may seem slow and the mistakes overwhelming. Without patience, the individual might feel discouraged and give up. However, with patience, they understand that language acquisition is a gradual process. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn, and every small step forward is a victory. By practicing patience, they persist through the challenges and eventually gain fluency. Patience allows them to stay focused on the long-term goal, rather than getting caught up in the short-term frustrations. Patience also fosters self-control. One of the most profound aspects of Stoic philosophy is the belief that we have the power to control our reactions. When we are faced with difficulty or conflict, our instinct may be to react impulsively, whether through anger, frustration, or fear. Patience teaches us to pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. This moment of reflection gives us the opportunity to choose how we want to handle the situation, preventing rash decisions that might lead to regret. For example, if someone insults you in a meeting, the natural reaction might be to respond defensively or angrily. But through patience, you give yourself the space to stay calm, assess the situation, and respond with dignity. Instead of letting the insult dictate your emotional state, patience helps you maintain composure, showing self-respect and preventing further conflict. By responding thoughtfully, you demonstrate inner strength and resilience, which earns the respect of others. Additionally, patience helps us build stronger relationships. When we are patient with others, we give them the time and space they need to express themselves, make mistakes, and grow. This patience fosters a sense of trust and understanding, as people feel supported and valued. Imagine dealing with a colleague who is struggling with their workload. Instead of rushing to criticize or demand more from them, practicing patience allows you to offer guidance and encouragement, helping them work through the challenge at their own pace. This approach not only strengthens the relationship but also demonstrates empathy and support. In conclusion, patience is a vital virtue for success, self-control, and personal growth. It is the key to building resilience in the face of adversity and to maintaining inner strength when things don't go as planned. Stoics believe that patience enables us to handle life's challenges with grace, allowing us to avoid impulsive reactions and make thoughtful decisions. By practicing patience, we gain the ability to focus on the long-term picture, to learn from setbacks, and to build meaningful relationships based on understanding and support. Patience isn't just about waiting for things to improve, it's about cultivating the strength to persevere and remain calm, regardless of what life throws our way. Lesson 8, Kindness, the power of small acts to build lasting respect. In a world that often values achievement, speed, and success, it's easy to overlook the simple but powerful virtue of kindness. Yet, in Stoic philosophy, kindness is seen as a cornerstone for building strong, respectful relationships and cultivating a life filled with meaning and connection. Kindness isn't just about grand gestures or extraordinary acts, it's about the small, everyday actions that show we care and value others. Kindness towards others is one of the most powerful ways to build trust and respect in our relationships. Whether it's offering a helping hand, sharing a thoughtful word, or simply being present for someone in need, these acts of kindness create a bond of goodwill that strengthens over time. Stoics believe that our interactions with others should be guided by virtue, and kindness is a key aspect of virtuous living. When we approach others with kindness, we demonstrate that we see their humanity and are willing to treat them with the respect they deserve. Think of a situation where a friend is going through a tough time. Perhaps they've experienced a loss or are facing a personal challenge. Your simple act of kindness, whether it's offering a kind word, a shoulder to lean on, or just being there to listen, can make all the difference. It might seem like a small gesture, but the impact it has on the other person can be profound. In those moments, your kindness offers them comfort, reassurance, and the reminder that they are not alone. These small acts may seem insignificant, but over time, they build trust and mutual respect, creating a deeper connection. Kindness towards ourselves is just as important. In a society that often encourages perfectionism and self-criticism, we can easily forget to show ourselves the same compassion that we show others. Stoic philosophers teach that we should treat ourselves with the same understanding, patience, and kindness we offer to others. When we are kind to ourselves, we acknowledge our imperfections and embrace them as part of our human experience. Instead of punishing ourselves for mistakes, we offer forgiveness, learning from our errors without allowing them to define our worth. Imagine a situation where you make a mistake, perhaps at work or in a personal project. Your instinct might be to be harsh on yourself, dwelling on the mistake and feeling frustrated. However, by practicing self-kindness, you can take a step back and remind yourself that mistakes are part of growth. You can offer yourself the same understanding and encouragement that you would give a friend in a similar situation. This shift in perspective allows you to move forward with renewed motivation, rather than getting stuck in feelings of guilt or shame. Furthermore, kindness has a ripple effect. When we are kind to others, we inspire them to act kindly as well. Imagine if you take the time to compliment a colleague on their work or show appreciation for their efforts. That small act of kindness might inspire them to do the same for others, creating a cycle of positivity and respect. In this way, kindness not only improves our relationships but also contributes to creating a culture of mutual respect and understanding. In a practical sense, kindness can be shown in countless ways, from simple acts like holding the door open for someone, to more significant actions like offering your time to help others. These small acts of kindness create a positive atmosphere in our daily lives and make us feel more connected to the people around us. When kindness becomes a habit, it shapes our character and strengthens our relationships in ways that last. In conclusion, kindness is essential for building lasting respect and creating meaningful relationships. It's not the big, dramatic gestures that matter most, but the small, everyday acts that show we care. Whether it's extending kindness to others or showing ourselves the compassion we deserve, these acts of goodness create a ripple effect that deepens our connections and fosters a respectful, harmonious environment. The Stoics understood that kindness is not just about making others feel good, it is about creating a virtuous cycle that enhances our own lives and the lives of those around us. Small acts of kindness have the power to transform relationships and ultimately contribute to a life of dignity, respect, and connection. Lesson 9: Self-reflection, the path to understanding and personal growth. Self-reflection is the mirror through which we can truly understand ourselves. It is the practice of looking inward, assessing our thoughts, actions, and emotions, and striving for continuous improvement. In Stoic philosophy, self-reflection is not just about acknowledging our strengths and weaknesses, but about actively seeking to align our actions with our values. Through regular self-reflection, we can cultivate wisdom, self-awareness, and the inner peace that come from truly knowing ourselves. The Stoics believed that to live a virtuous life, we must first understand ourselves and the motivations behind our actions. Self-reflection allows us to pause and assess how we are living, whether we are acting in accordance with our highest principles, and where we can grow. By taking the time to reflect, we can identify areas in our lives that may need adjustment and work towards becoming better versions of ourselves. One of the most effective tools for self-reflection is journaling. Journaling provides a structured way to process our thoughts, track our growth, and articulate our feelings. Imagine at the end of each day, taking a moment to reflect on your actions. What did you do well? Where could you have handled things differently? Writing down these reflections allows us to gain clarity and perspective, enabling us to make conscious changes in our behavior. Over time, this practice helps us develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and how we relate to the world around us. For instance, imagine after a challenging day at work, you take a few moments to write down your thoughts. Maybe you notice that you reacted impulsively to a stressful situation or didn't manage your emotions as well as you'd like. By reflecting on these moments, you not only gain insight into your behavior but also identify opportunities to improve in the future. The act of journaling allows you to process emotions constructively and take responsibility for your actions, which is essential for personal growth. Meditation is another powerful tool for self-reflection. Through meditation, we create space for stillness, allowing our minds to clear and providing us with the opportunity to observe our thoughts without judgment. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, practice daily meditation as a way to focus their minds and center their thoughts on what truly matters. Meditation helps us understand our inner landscape, our fears, desires, and values so that we can align our actions with what we believe to be important. Consider a moment when you feel overwhelmed or uncertain about a decision. Instead of rushing into action, meditation helps you take a step back, breathe, and become aware of the underlying thoughts or emotions driving your decisions. This moment of pause allows you to respond thoughtfully, rather than impulsively, and helps you make choices that reflect your deeper values. Over time, this practice enhances your self-control and emotional resilience, both of which are essential for gaining respect from others and living a life of integrity. Self-reflection also helps us develop empathy and better understand others. By examining our own experiences and emotions, we become more attuned to the feelings and needs of those around us. When we understand our own shortcomings and vulnerabilities, we are more compassionate and patient with the flaws and struggles of others. This emotional intelligence not only strengthens our relationships but also fosters mutual respect. For example, if we recognize in ourselves that we often jump to conclusions or get defensive in certain situations, we can make a conscious effort to be more patient and open-minded when interacting with others. Self-reflection allows us to acknowledge our tendencies and make intentional adjustments, which in turn improves how we relate to others and fosters trust and respect. In conclusion, self-reflection is the foundation for personal growth and the cultivation of self-respect. By regularly engaging in practices like journaling and meditation, we gain clarity about our values, actions, and goals, allowing us to align our behavior with our higher principles. Through this process, we improve ourselves and deepen our understanding of others, ultimately earning their respect. The Stoics understood that true wisdom comes from within and that by constantly reflecting on our lives, we can make the adjustments necessary to live with integrity, purpose, and dignity. Self-reflection is not just about understanding who we are today, but about shaping who we want to become in the future. Thank you for joining me on today's journey through Stoic wisdom. These 9 lessons: compassion, right speech, mindfulness, forgiveness, non-attachment, humility, patience, kindness, and self-reflection are powerful tools that, when applied, can help you lead a life of true respect and inner peace. Remember, the path to wisdom isn't about perfection, it's about growth. I'd love to hear your thoughts. How has Stoicism helped you in your life? Drop a comment below and share your reflections. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on these life-changing insights. Keep reflecting, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next video.